It's Mindset Explosion, season number 5, episode number 5. And today we're going to talk about how to avoid or manage burnout. So I've been there, and if you're watching this, I imagine maybe it's caught your attention and you're feeling it, or you've been there in the past. And maybe we're just looking for some great tips on how to avoid it. Or, of course, like I said, we're in it. Or maybe just kind of looking for some extra tips. And if you have been through this and you've overcome it, please drop in the comments below any of your thoughts, any tips or things to recognize that I might have missed out. Now, before I get started, I have got to say, I do go on TikTok every now and then. And so some of this research has come from a clinical psychologist called Dr. Julie Smith. Highly recommend checking out her TikTok channel because there's some great stuff on there for mental health and all sorts of kind of things like that. So burnout, I do feel it can happen to any one of us at any given time within our employment, our business, or even our lives. And a little bit about my story, if you've been following me over the years, is that I have been through burnout. I've been through it a few times actually, and each time, it's taught me many things. It was very difficult at the time when I was going through there, and it basically, I think it would just, I call it with my son, it's like a pancake effect, really. It would just start, everything stacks up, and then before you know it, you don't know what the hell's going on, and absolutely exhausted. And it can stem from, I think some things, I'll talk about in a minute, but one of the things I think if we're suffering mental health, then we can maybe start doing overworking to avoid this or to avoid certain things, maybe not addressing something. That could be one thing. And as people, yes, see me, that I am very busy, but I have also learned to manage my time. And I think that's a crucial tip to say. Is it is a lot about time management. And thing with social media is I may appear more busy than what I actually am. Doesn't mean I'm not doing anything, but I have my cutout points. Now, there's got to be times where I'll say you may have to run over that threshold, but I'll talk to you about that at the end, okay? I think couple of signs maybe to look out for that you could be heading for a burnout is you may start to disconnect, maybe from friends or loved ones or whatever, and you might even become a little bit more argumentative. Now, these are also good signs to look at, in your loved ones. If you feel that something is changing, something is off, it might seem like one thing, but generally, when there's something else, I would say, underlying that is going on. And of course, you've got a chance to support them, help them, or if in some case, if it gets too extreme, then that's your choice if you need to step away or step back. So very important that whether it's about you or it's about someone else, that your self must come first in this. So even if you're trying to help out with someone, then there may be a time it's great to help. I'm kind of going off in one because it can become otherwise an emotional burnout, which will happen, but maybe that's a little bit different. Okay, so you may start to disconnect from people around you, and it might be that you're that little bit more snappy. And I know, thinking back, where it's just this is just too much now that's going on. That the children might have got a bit snappy and oh my god, why have I done that? And then I just need to step back and have a little think about what's going on there. And I talked about it with my son recently. So I think he's just emotionally just he's young. There's a few things going on, but if we don't, these things can start to pancake up. Like think of a stack of pancakes, yeah. And if you got one, you could probably eat it. All right. I said this to my middle son, and he said, yeah, I don't like pancakes, so so if you're that person as well, yeah, just substitute it for something else. But hypothetically, we got pancakes, right? So we can probably eat one, we could probably eat two, but now if that stack goes up, and if you can imagine that these pancakes keep stacking up. Now, let's say they were problems, yeah? The problems at the bottom, that's the real problem. And it might be there's a few here, then we can manage a few, right? But when they start to stack, and then we eat the top one, and oh my god, I can't take any more. And then there's more getting piled on. But really, is the things we need to deal with are at the bottom. But we don't give ourselves that opportunity to stop putting these pancakes on top of me, and we are responsible for that. Yeah, someone else might put it there for whatever reason, or life may put it there. But a lot of things we can say stop to. Um, so number two, you might start to stop looking after yourself. So you say goodbye to exercise. Now, being within the fitness industry, I do see it a lot, and ironically, like people are adults, but it's exercise that seems to be the first thing to go. I can't. I'm too busy. I can't because I need to do this. I can't because I can't afford to do that. But it's one of the most crucial things for your mental health and your well-being. So you may find that you just, and it might be, oh, I just can't be bothered, or I don't this. So, but I see that, and yes, I'm compassionate to it, of course. But it is one of the things that may go. Now, exercise doesn't have to. If it's the gym, it's the gym. If it's playing football, it's playing football. If it's going out for a walk, because everyone's going to be different. But something is 1% of something is better than 0% of absolutely nothing, of course, right? Of anything, yeah. Obviously, our diet may change. Now, I'm not talking about fad diets, but we may overindulge on our eating, or our sleep starts to get a little bit affected. Maybe you start to feel a bit tired all the time, but you just can't seem to sleep at night. So when I look back on hindsight, I can definitely see where I was prioritizing things differently, and I need to get this done. And yes, I needed to get that done. But in reality, when I look back now, and I'm much, much more aware, doesn't mean to say these things don't start to happen, because they do, because we're human. But when I'm being aware, you're aware of that when those things are start to kick in. So as long as we kind of evaluate that from time to time, and I'll give you some tips at the end on what you can do, try and maintain that. Now, as anything, yes, sometimes you've got to come out. It is a little bit like having a routine, or a plan, which we do have to deviate from time to time. But you have to understand you've got to work out, well, I can do it this once, that's okay, but some things you might feel, no, that's it. I've got to be absolutely regimented in that. And I'll give you some examples. But I'll give you an example now. So for me, obviously, I got a lot of courses that I got coming up, and I'm continually learning. And if there's an event or someone's party, I don't really like encroaching on time that I have with my children. It's so important to me. So that's probably one of my rules. And but I do have to be, but sometimes I have to kind of overlap it a little bit. So next weekend, unfortunately, I won't see my children because I'm away for a 4-day training event. I couldn't choose when that event was going to be. That's just when it is. So that's a tough decision, but I have to weigh it up. Okay, with something else. Then I got to, very importantly in my mind, make that time back somehow, some other way with them. And it's not just for them. Of course, it's for me. But at the same time, I got to be careful. I don't sabotage myself with, punishing myself about it, or feeling good, or feeling bad about it, or anything like that. Okay. So it may have to overlap from time to time. And the same with my training. My fitness training is very important to me. So, but also I had to stop recently because I had COVID, and I needed to recover from that. But it's important I try and get those things in. So if I do shift that, then it's quite rare that I do. And then I've got probably one evening then where I pretty much, okay, I can, if I want to go train, I can train if it's free for friends, and then I'm doing some BSL as well. So what I'm getting at is weighing it up, but having that there is going to be so important. And I'll come on to some more in a minute. Anyway, now these are going to be a little bit similar. So let's say you're already in that burnout phase. So, we just talked about if you're heading for it, we're in it now. It's a little bit different. We're pretty much well and truly, and you may feel it'd be the same things I've mentioned before, but now they've escalated to something else. And I remember it was actually 10 years ago. And I think that's really when the height of my first burnout started to happen. And there were some good things, because I feel that I was so determined to make the academy, work, the martial arts academy. And it wasn't my own then. I was part, my name was on the lease, I was running it. But I I guess, quite fearful about, this, is it gonna how it's gonna work out. Going to America to learn, train, and I remember before I went, I was absolutely exhausted, and it had been building up, I think, for the best part of a good few years, to be fair. And it used to feel like I was on a boat, like stood up. I was that tired from everything that I just felt, and then everything was just on top of me, and then it escalated from there. I managed. I know I kind of worked somehow out my sleep, that that feeling did go away, but I then it turned to anxiety and those other things, and that's that. So I remember that feeling, and I remember, being tired, and because it escalated, it was obviously, it turned into, a mental health issue in the end. And then I found I was sleeping quite a lot. So let's go through some of these where you could be experiencing like a burnout right now. So maybe you start to overindulge. Now, it could be for food or alcohol. You feel that urge to have it more. Excessive gaming, or it might be TV, and it's a form of escape. Okay, now, some, don't get me wrong, TV sometimes, or movie, yeah, you might need it to calm down a bit, but it's just being aware if that's happening. Like, why is that happening? Why are you doing something more of what? If it's just your thing, it's your thing. But what I'm getting at is, if you are starting to do something more of what you didn't normally do, then what is the reason behind that? Now, it could be it could be burnout, it could be something else. But I'd say that's quite a big sign there. Okay, so what is it? Now, you have to be honest with yourself, if you're going to address it, because you have to be able to, well, is this a self-sabotaging thing that I'm doing? Now, if you want to find out a little bit more about self-sabotage, go to the Inner Power podcast page. We had a great interview, me and Ange, last week, with Eileen, coaching Eileen, and she gave some great examples to look at self-sabotage. All right. You may start to find it hard to concentrate or focus. So that was a big thing for me. I would have great ideas, things I wanted to do. It's part of the reason why I had to start outsourcing staff, because I just could not concentrate on things. And it would take times, and it might take a day to do, say, a letter or something, daft as that. So I found it a struggle to concentrate, and I'm aware of when that happens now. So yesterday, I was really, really struggling with that. This is pre-recorded, by the way. Oh, if you're watching this on the, if you're listening to this on the podcast, don't forget to leave me a nice 5-star review, and please, 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 please share. It's very helpful. Gets the podcast out there. We've got some interviews coming up very soon, probably next couple of weeks. So that guys that are in business, entrepreneurs, they're going to be sharing their mindset and how they got to where they got to, and some great tips as well. So please, please, please share. Okay, so concentration and focus, it starts to go, or you might start to struggle with your memory, like your short-term memory, and you might be, you're about to say something and it's totally gone just there and then. Yeah, that happens a lot for me. So it just might be a normal thing, but it's something just to look out for. Yeah, and it might be that it's one of these things. It could be all of them. You may have other things that you telltale signs. So if you've been through this before, then please drop in, yes, I went through this and this is how it was, but we got to have a positive. Okay, how did you get out of it? And if you're going through it and you haven't found a way out, by all means share, and then obviously other people can drop you some other tips following on from what I've dropped in. There you go. You may start to feel anxious about the day ahead. You absolutely think, oh God, I got this now. I remember a place I used to work at, I used to dread going up the stairs. It's like, oh my God. And it's not like they were loads of stairs. In actual fact, with the first academy in Cheltenham we had, there was a massive set of stairs, and I just run at them because I was so excited. So, psychology is a different thing, right? So, yeah, if you start feeling anxious about a day ahead, what you've got to do is something that needs to be addressed. It may be that you're just absolutely stacking it up all the time and not allowing that yourself the time for you, and then that's it. You start to lose enjoyment in your job or your work or the things that you love doing. They're not the same anymore. And that, it could be your exercise, right? It could be your exercise regime, or it could be talking to your partner or spending time with them. You start to lose the enjoyment of it because you're burnt out and you haven't got the energy for stuff. Okay. So if you can relate, like I said, drop in a comment, let us know, okay, because it's good when we got safety in numbers, all right, and we can start to work together. So how do we prevent it? I've already dropped some tips, okay, and if you've got some tips to prevent it, chuck them in. If you do meditation, you got meditation courses, drop the links in so we can all get on them and find out how do we please help us. So if you have a great service, please feel free to drop it in the comments today. Yes. So what we're going to do to prevent it and get ourselves out of it. So you got to stop. You can't be everywhere. You can't be running around trying to be a people pleaser, trying to help everyone, living up to everyone else's expectations. Because half the time it's, whatever you're doing sometimes, have you ever been in that situation where no matter what you do, they're still not happy? So you need to stop, okay? You need to pause. You can't complete all the tasks. You can't do everything unless you want to get a clone. But even then, the work will pile up. So I would say it's a mindset thing, okay? Some things can wait. Can it wait? Do you need to answer that email right now? If it's that desperate, surely they'll call you. And if it's still, then you don't necessarily have to answer it. They can call again. They can leave a message. You can pick it up in the morning. If I desperately wanted to get hold of someone, I would call them a few times. And I think we know that. All right. I know within business, if you're self-employed, that may seem a bit, what? No, I got to answer the call. But you can set the hours that you're going to answer phone calls. I don't think it's unreasonable for someone if they're calling at 11 o'clock at night and they're expecting an answer, and then they're going to get the huff if you don't answer at 11 o'clock at night, or a message or an email, then are they really someone you want to work with? Not me. And it sounds extreme and harsh but I've done all that, answering messages and answering phone calls at 3 a.m. And I gets a point, if they're going to think bad of you for not doing that, don't worry about it. It's not your business. It's their opinion or whatever it is. So they have to deal with that, not you. All right. And people are always going to say something bad anyway, if that's how they're going to say something bad. And I think we're all intelligent enough. If you've seen let's say, I know people worry, say, if it's a business, right, about a review. Well, I'm sure intelligent people can look at a review and think, so this person's got the hump because no one answered them at 11 p.m. at night or 3 a.m. in the morning, or they didn't get, so they've obviously got the hump. About that doesn't make any logic. So I think, like people sometimes in business, things like that, it's a little bit scaremongering, and it's unfair. So you know what? Don't worry about it. Take a break. Stop. Yep, some people ain't gonna be too happy, but that's for them to work out. That's their lesson, and that's their thing they got to deal with. And I can't reiterate that enough, because like you're running, and even if you're not in a business, you are. Don't kid yourself. Your life is. And your life is the most important one. You are in full control of that. And you have a chance to make a choice. And a great book is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And the last habit is sharpen the saw. So if you don't take time to sharpen your saw, to cut the trees down, to do the work you've got to do, it's going to take longer anyway. So you need time to relax, to go and do some meditation or exercise. And going back to this TikTok account, watched one last night, Dr. Julie Smith, great account. And she got this big water bottle, right? Filled it up with water, and she used that as stress. And as it starts to fill up, it overflows, and it's still overflowing and overflowing. Then she took a drill and drilled some holes in the side of the bottle, and then you watch the water go down, right? That it was pouring out. So basically, the principle behind it was it was taking our stresses away by doing things like time for you, by doing things like exercise, by having that time with your family. Okay. But again, you can't be everywhere. You can't be running around for everybody. You have to make the time for yourself and make time doing those things that are important. and you'll start to see that stress will start to, come away. You'll find it easier to sleep. You'll get into better sleeping pattern. I have an afternoon nap, to be honest with you, because that just sorts me out. But I'm not saying that's the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do at the same time. Okay. So can it wait? That's the first thing. Reevaluate your time and where it's going to, and ask yourself, how is this serving me? It might serve someone else, but how is it serving me? The time and energy you put into it, what is coming back? Now, there are things in life we have to do. So let's say with my podcast, it's about putting myself out there, basically. It's about giving back mostly. I want to give something. I don't want people to go through things I've been through, learn from what I've learned from, and allowing people the opportunity. I've gone through growth to talk about it and share that experience. So anyone that's thinking, I want to do something different, it's to give. But also it's an important part of it's needed for me to do what I need to do. However, like I said, I've learned that so I would be, up at ridiculous o'clock back. So if we go back nearly, I think it's about 10 years ago, maybe a bit further actually. So that was when I was running in a martial arts academy, finished teaching at 9, go home, have my dinner, probably wouldn't get sleep till 1. My eldest, bless him, would wake up about 5, go and do what I had to do with that. I should have asked for more help. Simple. I was exhausted. And then I'm back at work at 9. So it was like a 12-hour day of that. Now, could I manage it differently? Not always at 9, but the point is, it was between 9 and 12-hour days that I would be doing, depending on where we were at. Running around stressing about stuff, I could have controlled, but I know things differently now as well. So reevaluate where your time goes. Can you outsource anything? That's the first thing. Now, that did mean for me, when I outsourced, it was more, right, I need to get some staff and in to run some of the jobs I was doing. Now, at my point in life where I was at, I had to do that because it got to boiling point. So it meant not having maybe money, but money wasn't that important to me in that sense. For me, it's important because I need to live and I want to do well and I want to provide for my family, my children. But really, time is so important to be able to do the things I need to do. And now I'm able to do the things I'm in a position where I can, give back and do more and expand my growth, which will expand the businesses that I run and the people that are within there. All right. So reevaluate where your time goes. Okay. Start building your life around the things that, give you joy. All right. So build it around your family. If that's the thing that gives you joy, build it around there. If it's, you're well into fitness, build it around there. Make the time for that. And then you can work backwards. Okay. Because that's ultimately, it's about you at the end of the day. So work backwards from the things that give you what this gives me so much joy. So this is what I'm going to do. Take out the things that make you feel, ugh, and that's it. Cut and reduce, cut out, because sometimes we can't stop some things. If it's family, we may, we if we've got family problems, it just might be we can't, say goodbye. I'm saying we might have to just cut some things out. It might, if it's too excessive alcohol, cut it out. Don't have to, of course not. All right, but how is that helping your choices? Like if I have, let's say if I have a few drinks at a weekend, it's not like when I was younger and you go out, because I would be suffering for probably weeks. And I used to notice it if I go out and then it would affect my head on a Monday. So I was productive on a Monday, but I was probably more productive by the time the Wednesday came around. So it does affect things. Is it affecting our decisions, on how we are? I'm not saying cut it out. If you want to cut it out completely, I'm just saying can it be reduced, or can you, do you need to cut something out? If there's situations that are making you feel Mm, reduce it, cut it out, and then start to manage your time around the things that are important to you. So, and through work, that's again. So now you have your time, right? This is left for work now, or my job or my business. All right. So if you're employed, you may have set hours. Well, that's how it is until you may think, actually, I'm going to get out of here. But everything else, then you've got tasks that are going to generate income or generate. You got tasks that are going to generate prospects, and focus your time and energy around there. And you'll find you get a bit more productive and allow if you want to go to the extreme, it's almost like get your calendar and book, like, this is the time I do this is the time I do that, and these bits, right, that's my cutoff point. So even when I'm doing business acquisitions now, I've actually set times on the phone. So at certain times, if it goes beyond, I've just got the working hours. All right. So, and it will just go to an answer phone straight away from set time, because otherwise I'd be taking, and I did this, what happened last year. I was like taking phone calls in the car. So, right, this is good, but it's also not working. So, let it build around you. And that's how it is. And if it's someone that's going to, that's annoying, well, that's okay. I'm in no rush to do things. I'm not desperate. And that's the thing. You can take away that desperation attitude for it. All right. So cut out or reduce the things that maybe the joy is gone, or it's bringing you down, or it's just, is it necessary? What is it providing you? What have you got from that? Is it necessary? Be very sure of it, though. It's very important, because that you're cutting something out because it's taken something away. Yeah. All right. Exercise. Make some. We need to exercise. Okay. So it could be, just going out for a nice walk. Yeah. If you 10 minutes of your day, maybe you could walk to work or ride your bike to work instead, if that's the case. But you're getting something healthy. Okay. It's easy to jump in a car. It's easy to do anything. If you're join a dance class, join a martial arts fitness class, join a martial arts place, get signed up at the gym. All right. And it is what it's going to be. And yes, things you need, they might cost money, but walking or riding your bike don't. Well, maybe it does a bit, but you see what I mean? You got to get out and do something. And actually, what happens that it can clear your head up. You might want to put some music on during that time, or you might want to listen to a podcast or an audio book. It's a really good time to just, clear out some stuff that's going on in here. Last night, I went and trained. I needed to. I just felt so frustrated, and I could almost feel some of these things happening. And I just had to go and get on that bag. Now, normally I'm a bit of I might be a bit disruptive in the class, but I had to just be quiet and get on with it, and then just punch out in the bags, come home, spend some time with my son. Happy days. Okay. So that's how it worked for me. But find your thing. And if you're not sure, just go and try some different things out, and you'll soon find your thing. But exercise is so important. It's a great way of making new friends as well. You're finding your tribe a little bit, and I'd say give something a go. And if it's, hey, this is quite nice, and I made some new friends, and these people are friendly and they're supportive. Happy days. That's actually why I like being on some of the mastermind courses, even though that's not exercise as such, but it's actually that's another one, is getting out with your friends, make some social time, to chat and have a laugh and have a giggle, but also make some quiet time where you can just put your phone away, drop out of social media. Because as much as social media can help, there's a lot of fakeness in there, and it might start to disrupt your thought patterns a little bit. So, drop it. Just drop it. Put the phone aside for a bit. And actually, again, that's a great way to get some work done. It's a distraction, so take it away. But finish listening to this or watching this. Be mindful of what and when you eat and drink. So mindful a bit more of what you're eating and drinking. I love my chocolate. So, I do like a bag of crisps. They're my things. And I'd probably years ago, I'll have another bag of crispy, all right? So now I'm no. If it's one, that's it. I've had my one. I've had my one. But so be a bit more mindful of that, and that's something to really work on. And the same if you're finding that I was never much one for drinking at home. If I did drink, it'd be out. And I've been through phases where then I think in the lockdown, I might as well have a drink, might as well do, and it started to become out. I was like, no, this is just trying to take away something that's a bit of a worry about what was going on. So had to stop that. So we all go for it, yeah. So and then maintain what you set out to do. All right, maintain what you then start doing. It's not going to go away overnight. It won't. It just will take a bit of time, but you'll find that starts to ease things up. Okay, and actually, me having silence, it does allow me to calm. If I can get to punch out in the bags, then I will. I need to get. I'm hoping this is pre-recorded, by the way, so I'm hoping on Sunday I'm going to get down and do some yoga. So hopefully I've done that last night as this goes out on a Monday. But yeah, I'm hoping it's finding something that can just rebalance you a little bit, and that's it. Just find that calmness, take the edge off. That's through the exercise. Watch what you're eating, because that can, like, food and drink can really stimulate us for the good and the bad, if that makes sense. What other tips have you got? Okay, how do you avoid burnout? How do you avoid it? Like, just like, if you've got tips on avoiding procrastination, or just really working over the place. So I'll give you an example, actually. So like already in just one thing that I do. So I manage my time. Yeah, I'm normally live, and even though this may go out live, this is a pre-recorded message because I have something else that's going on the Monday, right? So, and again, it can seem like I'm busy, but I'm just using some software that allows me to go live on several different things. And then straight after this, if you listen on podcast, I've downloaded the audio and then I've uploaded it and I've scheduled it to go out on the day I want it to go out on. And it sounds so simple, and if you're doing that, you get it, right? But back, yeah, when I started this, I would be like, download it, upload it, strip the audio off, upload it again, and just like, oh my god, it's taking forever. Or I might I'd want to do it on another thing, and I'd be saying the same thing somewhere else. So we can end up like giving ourselves a lot of work that's totally unnecessary. And that's what I meant at the beginning. It looks sometimes, oh, I see you everywhere, Matt. Yeah, I know. I just done like one video. I could, if I wanted to, I could take this video and I could probably break it down into about 3 other videos. So there's ways of doing things, right? It's just thinking a bit smarter. It's even with emails. If you're getting emails left, right, and center, like, what happens when you go on holiday? And actually, that's another one to add on. Book some time away for you. You just need to chill out for a bit. I went, where did I go? London last, I think it was October. Anyway, where I went down to London, and it was a bit of a whatever was going on. And it was just to like, just relax for a few days. Did have to come back to it a little bit, but it had taken the edge off. Just to crack on with stuff, basically. So find that time where you can just, and make time throughout the year. If you're struggling financially, okay, well, find something that's affordable to you, or even if it's just a day out, right? We're doing that, and that's the day we're going, and we're going to stick to it. And I will say it isn't easy, because I remember planning things I used to struggle planning things like that, because I think my mental health got that bad. Like, am I going to be able to get out today? And then I'd have all great ambitions of doing something like that. And when it came around to it, it's like, no, I'd just be hidden the blanket or whatever it was, and a curtain shut, feeling like an absolute victim, miserable, blah, 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 blah. So be aware of these things, so that, it's to help prevent it. But they're so important. But if you've got any other great tips on how you can prevent or get yourself out of feeling burnout or overwhelmed, drop them in the comments, because we have got to finish on a positive, right? We need a way out of what it is we may be feeling. That's it. So don't forget, please drop a nice review, 5-star, give it a share, put some comments in, so important. And if you want to catch up with any like look back on any of my previous lives, just click the link and I'll take you straight there, basically. All right. Peace, love, all the time. Should be back next week. So I am away, so I have to pre-record that one, but probably like, what's he on about? Pre-record.